Cadillac Unscripted is sponsored by Independent Bank and Marianne Quist of Remax Central. Cadillac's hit music station, 107.9 CDY. Taking a break from the music for just a moment here for another edition of Cadillac Unscripted. Katy Huckle is with me. And on the phone, social distancing, don't you know, is Kelly Hondorp. Kelly is the general manager of After 26 in Cadillac. And we kind of wanted to get a restaurant angle of what the last 5 weeks have been like.
Yes.
So we decided to go to the manager of a place that really is near and dear to a lot of our hearts.
It's a gem of Cadillac.
In the Cadillac area. And Kelly Hondorp, how are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to talk about what's been going on.
Yes, what has been going on?
Well, unfortunately, not a lot.
Right.
We did try to do some takeout business for the first week after the stay-at-home order and the restaurants closing. Unfortunately, it didn't seem to pan out as well as we would have hoped, so we did make the unfortunate decision that we were going to officially close. And like the rest of the world, you know, that's been extended more than once. And as just today was announced, we have 3 more weeks. So it's been pretty heart-wrenching, if you will, to not go to a place that I used to spend a good 6 to 7 days a week, and now it's just a place that I visit not as often as I would like. So just doing a lot of things from home, working on a new menu. I've really tried to keep in contact as much as possible with not just our regular staff, but especially the project workers, and, you know, reach out to them and let them know that everyone still wants to know what they're doing and how they're doing. And so I've been trying to keep updated on Facebook, and
I have seen I've seen the Facebook outreach and that's a very nice thing to do.
Yeah. So can you tell us, when you're touching base with these folks, what are they saying about not coming to work?
Well, I will say that the biggest question is, when are we going to open?
How long is this gonna last, right?
You know, that's the hardest thing for me, because I can't answer that. Mm-hmm. And you know, even at this point, I'd like to be optimistic and think that we'll be back to work around May 15th, but, you know, especially when you tell the project workers a date, they're going to remember that.
Right.
And they're going to stick, you know, they're going to stick
gospel.
to it and hold you to it. So I just keep telling them that we're going to get back to work as soon as we possibly can, and, you know, that I miss them and everyone misses them, and just to stay home, stay safe, and that we're gonna be back.
Kelly, go ahead.
I have always thought, Kelly, that you have one of the best jobs in Cadillac, because you have people who are working for you who are very, very grateful to have that job. Mm-hmm. And that, I would imagine, makes it more difficult for you to be in the position that you're in now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, it's so true that I really do have a wonderful job, and it's a lot of hard work. There's no doubt. But it's very rewarding. And, you know, it's a lot of times I joke that I have 2 project workers that fight over who's going to clean the bathroom, you know, and
right.
And that just, in other places, it's people are fighting that they haven't had the bathroom cleaned, or, you know,
they don't want to clean the bathroom, right?
Exactly. These employees, they have so much reward coming to work, and they love to do something. And I know that this time is so challenging for them, because the After 26 is for them. This is, you know, this mission is for them to have a rewarding opportunity to provide meaningful employment. And we've basically not been able to offer that to them.
For anyone who is unfamiliar with the mission of After 26, can you explain what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. So the After 26 Depot Café is a nonprofit restaurant. We're a 501c3, and we provide meaningful employment to adults typically over the age of 26 that have developmental disabilities and cognitive impairments. And the reason for the number 26 is because in the state of Michigan, after the age of 26, adults with special needs graduate out of the public school system. So a lot of times these individuals are left with no routine, no schedule, and basically nothing to do, if you will. There's not a lot of opportunities for them. And so our restaurant is there to offer opportunities such as bussing tables, washing dishes, and really just being a friendly and familiar face when you come into the restaurant.
Kelly, what a testament to you that they want to come back to work too. You know, they miss you and they miss their coworkers, don't they?
They do. And, you know, I had, there's one AFC home that has 3 of my employees, and they put together little video clips. And I tell you what, they were great. You know, they said they missed me and take care. And I've had, you know, a couple of those, and they all miss their coworkers, but they all just really miss that schedule and that routine. So I just want to hug every single one of them, and I can't wait until I can.
So let's go back to when you were doing takeout. And of course, as you said, volume wasn't there and it just wasn't cost effective to keep it running. But what were people ordering, Kelly? What were the things that they wanted?
You know, it was just after we did Pie Day. So March 14th, we did our 3rd annual Pie Day. And so a lot of people were coming in and purchasing additional pies that we had because we always make an excess. So that was wonderful. But we did offer our full breakfast and lunch menu. So anything from our sweet potato scrambler to, you know, our burgers and just anything in between. We have phenomenal soups and sandwiches. And that's one project I've been working on while we've been away is some new menu items. I'm really excited to get back and let everyone see what we have available.
Well, can you give us an appetizer? We're curious. We want to know what this is all about now, this new menu.
Well, so the new menu is going to be a lot of the items that we've been featuring as specials up until the closure.
Okay.
So as I had mentioned, you know, the sweet potato scrambler, that's been a huge success. We have a macaroni and cheese flavor of the week that's gone over really well, so that's going to be something. We've decided to add build your own omelets and burgers. So, you know, those are just a few of the teasers, but we've got a lot more coming.
Great.
I know that how the restaurant business works going forward is probably going to be different than what it was on the 14th of March. Have you given some thought to how things are going to look at after 26, even though you really don't have any idea how things, you know what I'm saying? None of us have any idea how this is all going to look. You're probably going to have tables further apart, you know, that kind of thing. What kind of thought process has gone into that?
Oh, believe me, I stay up at night thinking about this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I believe what's going to happen is maybe we'll go to like a 50%. So maybe every other table will be sat. Obviously, with the project workers and some of their disabilities or impairments, you know, we do have some employees that have Down syndrome, so they are immunocompromised. So there's a possibility that we're going to have to limit their exposure and potentially not call them back right away.
I see.
You know, it's all really up in the air. It's all questionable. Obviously, the masks. We went through a thorough sanitizing prior to closing, and unfortunately, I have stopped at the restaurant a few times, and unfortunately, we have dust on the table. So, you know, we'll definitely come back about a week prior and make sure everything is re-sanitized and cleaned. You know, it's just we had to empty out all of our coolers, and we tried to freeze what we could. We donated some food. And right now, it really becomes a question of, and I was thankful that Governor Whitmer extended it a week prior to when it was supposed to open, because I was looking at putting a food order in for May 1st.
Right.
You know, and now I'm thankful that she did it in enough time that I didn't place that order.
Right.
But yeah, it's going to definitely be it's going to be different. It's going to be interesting. And, I usually have 5 project workers that work in any given day. And I know that every single one of them is so eager to be back. And I'm going to have to really limit that. And, that's going to be tough. It's going to be really hard. Mm-hmm. And, fortunately, we have a huge support system, not just with the folks around the Cadillac area, but just all over. And, even today we had such a generous donation come in via our website. And, it's things like that give me hope and give the mission of the After 26 Project hope. We know that the community will support us, and, we're just so thankful and blessed for this opportunity.
I know the After 26 Project over the years since it's opened has had its share of tough times. Mm-hmm. You've been living month to month and hand to mouth sometimes, and I've got to say that the After 26 Depot needs to be one, if not the first. It needs to be one of the first places to be on your return list when things get back to a new normal, because there's so many marvelous stories that are happening in that building. Don't you agree, Kelly?
Oh my gosh, absolutely, and I appreciate you saying that. I shared a story on Facebook the other day about my son who came home after his freshman year of college, and it changed his life. He has changed from he was doing an entertainment and sports promotion management studies at Northwood, and he's now going into special education. It is just such a place that it changes lives. Yes. And it's really wonderful. We get calls from all over the country asking how people in other communities can start something similar to what we have. And it's wonderful. These special needs individuals, they want to prove to people that they can do anything that they have the tools to do. Mm-hmm. And they really are not only some of the hardest working individuals, but they are just the happiest ones. Mm-hmm. And it is wonderful.
It's a good self-check for the rest of us, I think, to check the attitude and to be grateful and to be thankful, and it's inspiring to see these folks.
It is.
And that
it is. They like I said, that cleaning the bathroom story, it's like, wow.
And that new career track that your son is on now, he'll be gainfully employed for the rest of his life. Because the next time we have another virus like this, the entertainment and sports field is going to be
good point.
in a tough spot.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And Kelly,
exactly.
I have to tell you, when a donor, makes a donation like that online, that is also reinforcing the good work that you're doing. The word is out that the mission launched, the mission is successful. You've created an amazing template and stayed with it when times were good and when times were bad, and now you've got it, and you guys are going to bounce back. I'm not even worried about that for a minute. But when an online donation comes in the middle of this, when the restaurant isn't even open, that's faith in you and your leadership and what you're doing.
And it's a sign.
Yes.
It sure is.
You bet.
Yeah. Well, and as Rich touched on, I've been with the project now for just over 2 years. And honestly, when I got there, it was a question of how long were we going to remain open? And I'm so honored, and it's great that we've done so well, especially last year. We had a really phenomenal year last year. And even January, February, March, we were on track to be such a successful restaurant for this year. And that's been obviously challenging and upsetting that we're now going backwards from where we were. But it's just, I know that we're still headed in the right direction as soon as we open. And I know that, again, with the support of the community and with everyone involved, that we're just going to come back and be stronger than ever.
In the minute or so that we have left, Kelly, I do have one question. Is there a plan, if it's possible, to move forward with the Depot Music Fest this summer?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to say something. As of right now, and I just spoke with the president of our board of directors on Wednesday, the plan is to still go forward with Saturday, August 1st. We know that it's going to be challenging to potentially get the sponsorships that we usually do.
Well, and I'll tell you, that's the reason why so many of these events have gone down the drain, because they can't count on the sponsorship money.
Because the people don't know that the event's going to be held.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and, honestly, it's become such a community event that even if we don't raise a ton of money this year, and when I say a ton, we're lucky. $10,000 is phenomenal for us to clear on an event like that. And I think we're just going to continue to do it whether we have the sponsorship money come through or not. We have some talent lined up, our musicians. They've been super generous, and I think most of them, if not all of them, have volunteered their musical talents this year. So another testament of people supporting our mission, and we're definitely looking forward to it and really hoping Saturday, August 1st, that we'll be able to be in that Rotary Performing Arts Music Pavilion.
That might be the time when people are ready to get out of the house.
Right.
The cabin fever will overcome us all, and we're just going to get out and have fun.
Right.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah,
It's what we all need to do, Kelly.
Yeah,
so you
know.
you might be the launch point here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Well, we want you to know that we're thinking about you and your people, and we'll be the first ones into the restaurant when you guys bounce back here.
Thank you. I certainly appreciate it.
That's Kelly Hondorp, General Manager of the After 26 Depot and Café in downtown Cadillac. Kelly, thanks for your time today.
Thank you again.
Buying a home is still the great American dream. And yes, it can be an intimidating process. But you can rest assured and have confidence when the professionals from RE/MAX Central are in your corner to guide you through it. Marianne Quist of RE/MAX Central has helped hundreds of home buyers in and around the Cadillac area navigate the process over the years, and she's ready to help you too. From start to finish, from finding a home to submitting an offer, to understanding the purchase agreement, to inspections, surveys, and appraisals, to the time when you finally sit down and sign those closing documents, Marianne will be there. When you're ready to buy, talk to Marianne Quist at RE/MAX Central. See her listings at teamquist.com. It's part two of Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY. It's sponsored by Independent Bank and Marianne Quist of RE/MAX Central. And we had a great conversation just a few moments ago, wrapped it up with Kelly Hondorp from After 26, the general manager there. And now we're shifting gears from what you eat to how you eat.
That's right. And we're bringing in the boss on this. This lady knows a lot about what we should be eating, about healthy diet. We've got Diane Conrad with us. Hi, Diane.
Hello, Katy. Nice to be here with you.
Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? I think our audience would like to hear about that.
You bet. I've been a nurse for many, many years, and currently I'm a family nurse practitioner 1 day a week at Cadillac Family Physicians, and I'm also an associate professor at Grand Valley State University, teaching the Doctor of Nursing practice students who are becoming nurse practitioners.
Oh, my goodness. You're the nurse guru, I think.
Something like that.
Well, so you came to mind when Rich and I started talking about diet and diet in a pandemic, and folks can't, eat out like they used to. We're all changing. We're cooking at home more. Diets are changing, and buying patterns at the grocery store are changing. And I chuckle because I remember years ago I had someone in my office, and they were chuckling because I had a notepad with them, and in the notepad they had to write down every single thing they ate in a day to show you, to show Diane. And you had this person on a program for weight loss, and they were having wild success with it. And it was necessary for their health. And so you came to mind immediately when Rich and I were talking about food and diet during a pandemic. Can you share with our listeners your recommendations for what we should be doing right now?
Well, there's nothing that's different as far as eating differently because of COVID, other than really emphasizing that we want to boost our immune system the most that we can. So whatever virus or whatever illness that we are fighting, that our bodies are in the best shape possible to respond to that.
Okay.
And so when we eat well and also exercise and take care of ourselves in body, mind, and spirit, that boosts our immune system. so whatever bug we come in contact with, our body is able to respond to it better. So all of the rules that were out there before COVID are still obviously very, very much enforced with COVID recommendations, because we do want to eat healthy if we can. And it's not saying that you have to be perfect. It means that for the majority of your days that you're making good, healthy choices about what you're eating.
Okay. Now, when you say body, mind, and spirit, can you tell us what that niche needs to look like?
Well, certainly stress plays a real havoc with our immune system. And so when you're not able to be healthy in mind and spirit, it really does affect your immune system too. Okay. And so when you're physically stressed, mentally stressed, spiritually stressed, then that your body's response to that is a decreased immune response when you do have to fight infection. So that's why it's so very important to eat right, to exercise, and also take care of yourself as far as your mind and spirit too.
But what you're also saying, Diane, here is that all other things being equal, your diet during a non-pandemic versus your diet during a pandemic, you're still at more risk to be sick based on your mental state, right?
Well, right, because again, your body has to fight these infections by how your body responds to an infection or a virus that produces antibodies. And if you're stressed, then your body isn't able to react as quickly and as effectively, and so therefore you're more likely to get sick. So eating right, fruits and vegetables and all your vitamins and minerals. So taking a multivitamin daily is a really good idea, as well as try to get your 5 a day. 5 fruit and or vegetable servings a day is a really good idea, because you get the natural vitamins and minerals, and your body actually absorbs them much more efficiently if you eat them in your food compared to if you take it in a pill form.
Okay. Diane, earlier when we were visiting a little bit, we talked about the expense of fresh fruit and vegetables. And you said, sometimes you can pull in canned goods or dried goods. Can you share some thoughts about that?
Sure. One of the things that everybody's finding now with being inside with COVID is, my goodness, I have to look in my pantry. And I have all these leftover canned goods or perhaps other things in your pantry that you haven't thought about for a while. So even if you perhaps are able to buy some fresh fruit like grapes, let's say, then maybe if you have some canned fruit, you can make a fruit cocktail with fresh and canned. And so it's another way to use up what you have in your pantry, but yet still have some good fruit servings that go in.
Well,
yes.
And I do want to say, if you're in the Cadillac area and you have children 18 or under, the schools are doing a wonderful job getting food in the hands of families who need it. Also, the Cadillac area YMCA is. We have apples, we have oranges, we have pears, we have grapes. So there are a lot of healthy choices that are being given to families right now.
Oh, that's wonderful. Great. Good.
It is great. And the other thing too is if you're looking for a snack, if you haven't had your 5 servings yet today, then grab that apple or grab a handful of grapes first before you head for the salty or sweet foods that you might want to choose for a snack.
Okay. Diane, when we talk about, I know rest and sleep is a big part of, the body health and mind, wellness. But you talk to some folks and they're waking up in the middle of the night. Some people, their unemployment check hasn't come, or they're concerned about being called back to work. What do you advise for these folks that are struggling with sleep?
Well, first of all, it's really important not to be on your TV or a lot of stimulation with your screen time right before you go to sleep.
Okay.
Because that is still continuing to stimulate your brain. So, getting a good, what we call sleep hygiene routine before you go to bed, perhaps reading or, some meditation or whatever types of things you need to do. But doing screen time right up until the time you go to bed, or having the screen in your bedroom, is really not a good idea, because, again, it stimulates those centers in your brain that doesn't let you relax and get good, restful sleep.
Well,
Wow.
and there's actually so much out there on Facebook and on the news sites that you really don't want to read just before you go to bed anyway.
Right.
Absolutely. And that's the other thing is, I really tried to, minimize. Granted, we have to learn a lot about COVID and everything is coming out every minute, but that doesn't mean you have to be looking at it every minute. So, I take some time each day or here, our Munson system on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays have just a quick half-hour forum for health professionals. And so I get a good compressed information and just 3 times a week for that half an hour. So those kinds of things, because otherwise you can get just slammed with too much information.
Okay, so Diane, you just brought up something really important. You're talking about this segment in these days, and you're talking about a routine. And,
Right.
and that we've heard from high school seniors, they miss their routine. Our last guest told us, she changes from a day pajamas into her night pajamas. And, we make these jokes about this, but it's a real issue, routine for people. Can you give us some suggestions about that?
Well, Katy, that's a great question, and certainly we as humans do thrive on a routine, and we do, again, feel better and less stressed if we have something that we're planning on a routine basis. So making sure that you get your 8 hours of sleep, like we talked about, is really important, but also, scheduling your day and making a new normal here post-COVID is very, very important. And certainly, that goes for your meals, too. Making sure that you do get your meals on, 3 meals a day as well, rather than snacking all day. Because when we're at home, we tend to be going past the refrigerator or the cupboard a little bit more frequently than we would at work. But really planning those meals and keeping your breakfast, lunch, and dinner routine, as well as now adding in your exercise routine. Because now, for everyone, we recommend 30 to 45 minutes of continuous activity most days a week. And so if you can fit that into your new COVID schedule, that's really another way to boost that immune system we were talking about.
Oh, boy, this sounds like work, doesn't it, Rich? You got to know what you're going to make for your meals. You've got to get out and get moving. Diane, is now a time to tackle projects? Let's say your closets need to be cleaned or your yard is a mess. Is that going to overwhelm somebody? Is that a good idea? I mean, this is people have more time than they typically have had.
They sure do. But the other part of it is chunking. I love the word chunking.
Okay.
It's not that you're going to clean your entire basement tomorrow, but perhaps maybe you'll take one closet. And our goal this week is to get 3 different closets done, rather than saying, I'm going to do the whole thing all in one day. So again, it's moderation and everything, but I find chunking as goals are really a good idea.
If you wanted to lose 60 pounds, it's more realistic to say I'm going to do it 10 pounds a month for 6 months, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's another way. That's literal chunking right there. Wow. All of these suggestions are so good. What about people that are contemplating a major life change, a move, a career change? Is now the time to be writing down your pros and cons, or is that overwhelming?
Well, it just depends on really what your impetus is. If some people will have to make a major life change because perhaps employment opportunities and different things post-COVID are going to really force them into a major life change. But if you do have a choice, right now is not probably the time to make a major decision because everything is so uncertain right now.
Okay. Yep.
So certainly you can make, your pros and cons, but realize that all of us are going to have to figure out what our new normal is after COVID. And that'll be, as far as our economy, our lifestyle, our job, all of these things may have a new normal. So at this point in the game, if you can just really focus in on how to keep yourself healthy in the short term and then see how things are going to play out, and then, again, that's a great strategy, Katy. Making your pros and cons when you are making a major life change is a really good idea to help you make that decision.
Decisions made out of fear or irrational thoughts are usually never the right ones.
Absolutely. And you got to trust your gut, too. I don't know if you, sometimes you make that big list of the pros and cons, and then there's just this gut feeling that you have to go with. And certainly running it by trusted friends and family members is also a good idea.
So, Diane, one of the things that we've heard from mental health professionals is interaction with others. And we've talked to pastors that, of course, can't have church, and the elderly community in particular, really welcome that time together, that fellowship. Can you tell us ways that we should be interacting with others to lift our spirits and to lift their spirits?
Absolutely. Well, there's some really good things that have come about now with our technology. Certainly FaceTime and Zoom and all of these wonderful platforms where you look like you're on the Brady Bunch, with all the different people on the screen on your computer.
Here's
Our
a story.
family has a set-up time now every Sunday where I have 7 siblings, and so all 8 of us are on, just like the Brady Bunch, on Zoom every Sunday to keep in touch. The other thing we've done is that each of us has taken a day that's our day to call our dad.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
Monday is my day to call my dad to check in with him, and so all of us siblings have taken time to make sure that we are checking in as far as especially our elders who are certainly much more isolated.
That is wonderful. I have a question. Does anybody get a word in edgewise with 8 of you?
Well, it just depends. There are the quiet ones, and then there's me. So sometimes, those quieter ones don't get quite the change. But, with Zoom, you can raise your hand, and so that's really a good thing.
Oh, my gosh, you have given us such good ideas today and things to really work on. I think everybody learned something from Diane today, and so thank you so much for your time.
And thank you for asking. It's really wonderful to, again, I think the resilience of our community is really showing now because we're all pulling together. We are in this together. And I read a wonderful thing about, our health professionals and a really good bumper sticker type of thing that said, our superheroes all wear masks.
Oh, I love it. And that's a wrap. We can end on that. Wonderful. Well said. And you stay safe, and thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Join us next week on Cadillac Unscripted, 107.9 CDY, Saturday morning at 8:30, sponsored by Independent Bank, as well as Marianne Quist of RE/MAX Central on 107.9 CDY.